the ultimate Barner.
War Eagle, baby!
War Eagle.
War Eagle, hey!
The lifelong Bammer.
Roll Tide, Bama Nation.
Roll Tide. This is the Tigers and Tide Podcast. All the latest news from Auburn, Alabama, and the SEC. Here are your hosts, Brett Mason and Jamie Thomas.
All right, here we go with our last podcast of the week, leading up to the biggest college football weekend of the year so far. My buddy Jamie Thomas in with me once again. War Eagle, buddy.
Roll Tide, Roll Tide. Are you getting as excited as I am?
Well, look, I would be if they would ever talk about, well, they're talking about Alabama some, but only because you're playing a Mississippi team. Auburn and LSU is like a game that does, like last year, this would have been one of the biggest games of the year. This year, you can't even find it. They've gone slap crazy about Mississippi. It's like, I understand Mississippi getting excited because they've never been here before, but why is the media so damned excited?
Hey, we were talking about this at lunch today. Tom, who I worked for over at Sportsman's, he was saying, if Ole Miss and Mississippi State win tomorrow, this could be the apocalypse. There's 4 blood moons this month. Both Mississippi teams are ranked in the top 25. If they both pull off the big wins, and this could be it for everybody.
That's crazy. It's all I can see. Even the upset at with Oregon that happened last night, which should be half of what everybody's talking about because of how much that shakes up the standings now. That ain't hardly getting any play. It's just, was Mississippi State going to do this? Is Ole Miss going to do this? And so I guess that's what we got to live with. It will be fascinating if they both win. God help us. Thank God I don't know any Ole Miss or Mississippi State fans.
I know plenty of them, and it's the same time every year is when they start smack talking, and it's the same time every year, when you don't hear from them for another 364 days. So I fully expect them to shut up and us not hear another word from them for a long time.
Well, let's jump right into it and talk about the Alabama-Ole Miss game. If you have anything new, you got anything on injuries, if you want to revise your prediction from earlier in the week, I see them talking about how this Mississippi defense or Ole Miss defense is they're just going to buck up, and it's just going to be hard for Alabama to get in. And I just don't see it. I've watched 2 games now that Ole Miss played, and I just don't see it.
I don't see it either. I was a little concerned with thinking Blake Sims might not be 100%, but Saban said yesterday he was throwing the ball. He looks great. He's 100%. He's ready to go. And it's really surprising that we're even talking about how Blake Sims is, the impact player of the game. The beginning of the year, nobody gave him a chance. Even myself, I thought for sure he wouldn't be the guy. But, now I'm thinking, man, if we don't have Blake, we're in trouble. We took some questions on the podcast, of course, talking about the defense, and one of them was, could the secondary stop Amari Cooper? It's kind of crazy. Ole Miss has a great defense. They really do. Ndicci on the defensive line is playing well. Their linebackers are really good. The secondary has not been bad either. They've got 9 interceptions already this year. 2 or 3 of them, they've taken them back for touchdowns. But as a unit also, through 4 games, even against the quality of opponents they've played, they've given up over 1,300 yards in the air. So I don't see. I expect Pruitt to be matched up with Cooper. Florida tried the same thing. They put their most talented player in the defensive backfield on Cooper. Cooper still got his catches, yards, but what you have to worry about are the other receivers, Kenyon Drake coming out of the backfield and DeAndre White. So will Ole Miss make an attempt to shut down Amari Cooper? Of course they would. Any defensive coach in their right mind is going to try to stop Amari Cooper. But with that being said, if he gets double coverage or if he gets, they do, focus on him the entire game, it's just going to open up more opportunities for the other playmakers on the team.
We had a voicemail question come in too, and that's about Amari Cooper, so we'll just go ahead and handle that right now as well. We'll take a question now from the Tigers and Tide voicemail. You can call and leave yours at 334-377-0329. That's 334-377-0329. And we could use your question or comment in the next podcast. This would be Amanda calling in. She has a question about the Oregon game last night.
With Oregon's quarterback getting embarrassed at home last night, how does that affect Amari Cooper's chances of winning the Heisman?
Since he got utterly embarrassed last night, and he did. I don't know if you watched the game or not. Wasn't all his fault. His offensive line sucks about as bad as any offensive line I've ever seen. Still, he coughed up the ball and turned it over and just had some issues. Does that open up the path even more for Amari Cooper to get into this Heisman race? Because it's difficult for a receiver to get the Heisman. I mean, they want to give it to a quarterback is what they want to do.
Yeah, they want a quarterback to have it or a running back to have it. I think Desmond Howard, Tim Brown, the last two receivers to win, or the only two receivers to win the Heisman Trophy. I think for Cooper to have a chance, he would have to return kicks or return punts and show that he's more than just a big play wide receiver. I don't think that's going to happen just because of the talent we have on special teams already, and I don't think they're willing to risk, Cooper getting hurt on a kick return. I just don't see it happen. Maybe if Christian Jones, something happens to him, it's possible that we could see Amari back there returning kicks. But the mindset of this team is to win individual goals, is to win national championships. I know Amari would love to have a Heisman Trophy. Saban would love to have another player with a Heisman Trophy on his resume. But when it comes down to it, they're going to do what they can to win the football game. I don't think Cooper right now. He may get an invite to New York for the presentation, but I don't anticipate him being in the top three.
The only thing that's changed, on my opinion, on the Alabama game before we move on to Auburn and Louisiana is, I do a little betting from time to time.
Right. Don't we all?
One of the things I rely on is the Marcy Index, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that or not. And I went and checked that yesterday. Hadn't looked at it all week. Went and checked it yesterday and trying to line up, see if I could find any good bets. And lo and behold, the Marcy Index has Mississippi over Alabama by 7. So,
wow.
That means I got to bet against them. Mentally, and from watching them, I think they got to win. But I really like this Marcy Index. Has got me some big money a few times, so I got to go with the money on that. And probably nearly as shocking, which makes me wonder if the guy doing the Marcy Index was drinking, has Auburn over LSU by 24, which I don't ever see happening. So
I would bet the house on LSU in those points.
The thing is, you're not going to get 24 from anybody. The line isn't anywhere near that. If I could get 24, though, trust me, I would jump all over the LSU at those numbers. So that's the only thing that's changed with me. I'm still thinking Alabama's going to win, but from trying to make money aspect, I'm going to be betting against them. I hope you're not superstitious or you don't give a damn about crap like that.
No, I bet sometimes, but never on Bama. Never bet on the Bama game.
You're a smart man.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad juju, man.
Nothing's really changed with the Auburn LSU game that I know of. I went and read all the blogs and the forums and all that stuff this morning, trying to find some changes on injuries, which is really the only thing outstanding. Chris Frost, the linebacker, we got Casanova McKenzie was out. They're still day to day. We don't know if they'll play. Saying I would expect Casanova McKenzie will not be back. You don't just come back in a few days. I don't think. Chris Frost maybe. I think we're probably in actually the offensive line was really humming that last game out, the last quarter. I don't really have too many issues with the changes they had to make on the offensive line. I still think things are pretty par for the course. And like we talked about in the last podcast, the only reason I'm confident Auburn is going to win this game is because it's on the Plains.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game.
I agree with that 100%. I'm giving Auburn the edge because it is at home. I do like LSU's chances. I think this freshman quarterback, he is a good football player, and he is going to be great before he leaves LSU. You can just kind of look at him. Gus recruited him real hard. He was supposed to be the next, Cam Newton. He is good. He's talented. He can throw the ball. He can run the football. I think he's going to give Auburn some fits. And, if he really comes out of his shell, Les turns him loose, allows him to scramble. He could cause some problems for the Auburn defense. And then, like I said before, of course, the X factor is Les Miles. The trickery that he likes to pull out from under that mad hat that he wears. That could be, that could be a deciding factor. I do like Auburn because it's close. I think I told you maybe 21-17 or 24-17. It's going to be a close, hard-hitting football game, which is really what we've come to expect out of this Auburn LSU game.
Well, it's going to be an exciting day of football Saturday. I'm going to be watching from 8 o'clock in the morning until like midnight. I'm pretty pumped up about it.
Me too.
Hoping both our teams pull out a win. I think that's good for both programs. Like we've said a million times, if they can both be undefeated at the Iron Bowl, that only leads to good things for one team, not for both of them.
That's right.
But it gives you a shot, man. And so I'll be pulling for that. And since you know so many people from the state of Mississippi, grab you some Prozac to deal with them.
I'm not worried about them. I think by halftime they'll have their phones turned off.
Yeah, it's funny how seeing the score change will quiet you down.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, brother. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week about the game, see how it shakes out in War Eagle.
All right, roll tide, buddy.
Tigers and Tide is a weekly podcast covering football in the state of Alabama and the SEC. We don't claim to be football gurus or talking heads. We're fans just like you. If you like the show, please take a moment to share the link to this episode on your Facebook page. And don't forget to like our page at facebook.com/Tigers and Tide. That's facebook.com/Tigers and Tide. Have a great weekend and War Eagle. And Roll Tide.